We do not own the rights to anything or any music that's heard during the duration of this podcast. Also, a lot of these shows will have explicit content. So if you are not a fan of any cursing or profanity, you may want to walk away, but that does not mean that every show will consist of such. I know y'all tired of it, but we got a new season of The Past. Welcome to season 8, the Mamba Year. Podcast available on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all of your podcast platforms. Here you'll get a dose of content related to tech, the productivity world, and most importantly, how to be a better you. The theme for this year, personally, is receiving grace. And we definitely want to do better with receiving it and being open to being a better us from who we were a year ago. So this is season 8 of The Past, and I hope you all enjoy.
So I did not know that it has officially been a year since doing these walkcasts. I didn't pay any attention to it, but sometimes you need things to be seen for it to all come full circle. So as you probably are or aren't aware, today celebrating the Big 4-2. Nate Thurman, uh, James Worthy, Jerry Stackhouse, Kevin Love, to name a few of the NBA players who's worn number 42 in their career. Now I'm going to do something a little unorthodox and it might surprise some people, but slow walk with me. This year, I'm breaking tradition. And what I mean by breaking tradition is I'm avoiding the infamous, what's his name, the Jackie Robinson birthday. Because normally people will acknowledge his birthday, acknowledge his number for 42. And for some reason, I decided, as me being me, to be a bit unorthodox with my wording, with my choosing, with my connecting. And how I shared a lot of my posts this year was by literally, I did I'm turning 21 again, because I normally never say that phrase. I just kind of say my year, because it ain't, for me personally, it's never been that deep, nor do I intend it to be that deep. So I decided to just call it 21 twice, or 21 times 2, however you want to pin it. But yeah, man, 42, how does it feel? Everything hurt? Not really, but I do get some little pain stints here and there. Now I mentioned that this did start a year ago. Specifically, it started on the 31st of last year. And I didn't know that until going back and looking at different posts and different sources of content, which leads us to the aforementioned here and now. And I gotta be real. These get easier. These get easier with time. Um, the walk today is kind of interesting just because of the fact that I read something that someone said, and they weren't invalid with what they stated. Let me be 100% clear. Because as we change, life changes. And what that looks like or what that means is the area that a lot of people grew up in, aka where I grew up, has changed. I won't say for the better, I won't say for the worse, but it's changed. And the change has been inevitable just because of the simple fact that there's a lot more that's noticeable that was not noticeable before. And a lot of people kind of have their quote unquote love hate relationship towards it. And I 100% get and respect that. Um, but we have to, as with anything, when things change, we got to be in a position to embrace those changes, whether we like them or not. And that's been kind of a running theme without being a running theme that I personally noticed. Um, like I said, the first walk cast that I did, and for some reason, I've never personally deleted any of my walk casts that I've ever done from my phone, which could be things to go back and listen to in life or at whatever point. And I say that because many times we need ways to remember and be aware of those folks who are in our lives or in our spaces. Um, I don't personally have any because I was never a good voicemail keeper, but deep down, thinking back, I personally wish that I kept some of my voice messages from my dad and just thinking about, you know, how he would check in or he would just reach out or whatever the case may be. Because now, like the simplest things are the simplest things. And what that entails or what that goes into discussing is like something as small as him just calling just to see either how I was doing or if he was calling to check in on my mom because he couldn't get hold of her. Like you really start to see things for what they are and how they all come full circle. Um, this year is a bit different. It's like literally it's a bit different, but it's a bit the same. And it's a bit the same because I know that some of my folks are gonna want to vibe and hang out, which I totally have no problem with that. But it's a bit different because my hangout vibes aren't I'm hanging out and I'm going hard. Like those those days and that version of me does not exist. And I think people are still like taken aback by it. And it turns into, for lack of a better term, a guessing game of, well, does he not care? Do he not, do he not mess with us anymore? Is he doing something different with his life? And the answer is, yeah, I'm doing something different. A lot of stuff is going in a different direction, but it's not as bad as it sounds or seems only because I've just got what I'm working on. And I know currently I have, so I swear I didn't think this was going to get this deep, but it's going to get this deep. I personally look at my life and realize that I've been back and forth with what this assignment is, or what is it that I'm supposed to be doing, or the personal obvious. What does what I'm supposed to be doing look like? And the one thing that's so eye opening without being eye opening is that life is going to give you signs in more ways than one. And you don't know what or where those signs are coming from. Like as I do this walk, especially with me walking a bit of a different route, it's a different, um, you're going to see different signs from signs you would normally see. And the, the bigger picture or the quote unquote aha moment is sure, we see those signs, we understand those signs, but do we do anything with the signs that are provided to us? In many instances, the obvious answer is no. We do nothing and we go back to what we've been doing all along. And lately, I found that it's the opposite now. Like, I've invested more time and effort in just taking heed to whatever sign or whatever message that's being gifted or granted to me. Because if it was intended for me to learn it, there's a reason. And I'm taking advantage of those reasons for once in my life. Um, like I said, never know or understand something is the way it is, but over time, it all it all unravels. And right now, more has unraveled in ways that I didn't think it would unravel. A few days ago, participated in the men's ministry, had a conversation, and the idea came up of finding a way to connect it back home. One connection has always been how I've never not been a fan of volunteering. The volunteering vibes that I've had or have went through, literally, I've not had like a negative experience with any of it because if it wasn't for me doing a lot of the work that I did or have done, I wouldn't have met half of the people that I've met in my life. I wouldn't have connected or reconnected with half the people that I've met in my life. So this morning, normally as many people usually hear me address or say, I take my walk to um, the the tennis court and then I walk my laps there. But today, I'm deciding to walk to a place that pretty much helped me understand who I was. It introduced me to, like, I had the foundation for computers, but it really stapled the foundation of computers. I pretty much was like active and attending right up until COVID. COVID hit, and I kind of backed off. Um, I would participate with different things, but in the end, it just wasn't something that I was like really sticking with like that. Well, as the saying goes, to everything, turn, turn, turn. So now I'm more open to the space that I'm in and just valuing life for what it's worth. And that's what brings me to the Boys and Girls Club. And it's kind of like, I wouldn't even call it a coincidence. It's kind of like full circle because I knew people was going to post on my wall. I knew people was going to text. I knew people was going to hit me up. One of my friends who don't live far from here happened to post on my wall. And it was kind of an impromptu decision, but I'm deciding, and this may happen again more often, but decided to just come up here, take a walk, sit down for a second, and just, for lack of a better term, reminisce. So that's what I'm doing this morning. I'm gonna take it all in. So this will be a brief audio breakdown, but more to come soon. But I at least wanted to share this with you all now. All right, y'all. Catch you later. I will say this, and I'll let it be what it be. Messages and signs can come from anywhere at any time. So as you know, I do 2 separate walks in the morning, both 20 minutes. Second one should be somewhat of a running, jogging thing, but don't always work out that way. But finished first walk, had a little bit of time to just kind of sit, gather myself, and take the rest of this walk on a bit of a alternate direction, but still getting home. And when I get to my destination, which if you listen to the first part, I mentioned the destination. I sat there and just kind of stopped for a minute. And fun fact that many people know, or many people may not know. Growing up, I've never personally owned or been fond of owning a pet, specifically dogs. It's like whatever. Like they good as long as you don't get in their little crevice of spaces. But they can be real territorial too. So go through my stuff, sit there. And I was like, well maybe like let me just sit here. So this dog comes up and it was like the dog was gonna get near me, but didn't. And then went a different direction. Totally fine. Nothing, business as usual type thing. And for whatever reason, the dog like got kind of near me, but kept like sniffing around and doing stuff. And I didn't tense up. I didn't like, oh, let me get up and run or do whatever. I just sat there. And I don't, I promise you, I don't say things to make them sound crazy or out of pocket or anything. I say them because signs and messages can come from the craziest places. And in that instance, that was a sign. Stop. Listen. Slow down. Be resilient to attack or react. Because typically, our mind is fight or flight. But in this particular instance, it was no, I don't need to react to it. I just need to embrace it. And so eventually, the dog decided to just run a different direction. Because he kind of could gather, he or she could kind of gather, I really want in I don't have a tennis ball. I ain't in a playful mood. I got nothing for you. Like nothing. Literally keys and earbuds. That is the and of course, not really much I can do for you. And the more interesting part, if you were listening to part one, they should be on the leash. Yeah, they're on the leash. Yeah. But they decided he ain't got much for me. Let me go on about my business. And the dog went. So like I said, I had stopped. Couldn't have been but a minute or two before that dog walked up. Didn't know the dog was going to be over in that area. 'Cause I'm not fond of animals not being on leashes for some reason. Like control your animals. Like it's not a hard ask. And everybody's different. Like I hear you, but I just think about stuff like that. And so right before I started this second walk, I look at my phone before I hit record, and it says 555. And I was like, what are the odds of it showing that number and or time as I'm, on my morning walks? And the thing that's crazy is like I don't think Mark be knowing what he does, but Mark be knowing what he does because anyone who knows me, like knows me, will tell you. Growing up, I drove everywhere, everywhere. There was no, there was no walking through the city. I was always now. People can joke about the whole, oh, you sheltered, you don't do anything, but it was a reason because I always personally wanted to be aware of my surroundings. Now I can get up early, go walk, get home, have a good amount of energy, and be back to it, like like it's nothing. Now, I personally can say, even with my numbers being my numbers as a whole, probably felt the best felt in a very long time. And even for me, as I say that, it's still, I won't say scary, it's still surreal. And because I'm like thinking back to it from the beginning, I want to say I got into my health and my workout not but a few months after turning 40. So it's like to begin to notice where I'm at with a lot of stuff is just good inventory, good headspace, good everything. And I don't share it as like a pity party or and let's give him encouragement and words of affirmation. It's just more of like, dang bro, you doing the damn thing. And the more the bigger aha moment is as much as I don't acknowledge it, I don't give it up on myself. Like I really have been in this like locked in state. Sure, my slow 30 or 30 slow has not been how everyone else, like the creators of it, I haven't really followed it to their flow. But I also don't feel bad despite what has or hasn't gone on. It's been getting done. And that I think that in and of itself is like that's the accomplishment without being the accomplishment. Um, I don't I don't expect everyone to operate like me, but I also know like when you find yourself being in the space of needing to or having a transition, you appreciate the transition when it happens. And that's been literally the story of my life with working on this. Um, and again, like I rocked the podcast for 8 years. I don't have like some massive following, but I can say the core that I got, the village that I have, is plenty. I can I can uproot that village to wherever I decide to venture. So if I decide tomorrow I want to do Twitch again, I can bring them over to Twitch. If I decide to put more effort to TikTok, I can bring them over to TikTok. I mean, not TikTok, YouTube. Um, I've talked about it before. Like, I don't think we're gonna be getting much out of TikTok, only because it's not it's not the thing. It used to be the thing, but it's not the thing anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem becomes when we don't accept that change being a change. So I'm gonna finish this one up again. But as always, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And fingers crossed, hopefully one day this week I can get these shows uploaded and get y'all some content. Cause I have 2 podcasts that have been just sitting. And I don't want them to get too cold or too stale. I will catch y'all next time.
Truly hope you all enjoyed the show. Definitely was a lot to unpack, but I know you'll walk away with something important. As I share at the end of each season, do find your way to get into podcasting if it's something you would like to do. My podcasts are currently recorded via Buzzsprout. Been very good to me. If you want to learn more about using them, definitely hit me up at thepastbtpod@gmail.com. And also the microphone that you're hearing me on is the Blue Yeti X. Have been rolling with it for over 3 years. We've been doing this ride for quite some time, so I hope someone could find this mic useful. Again, find those people who are good or helpful in what you're trying to do to be better today than you were yesterday. The primary goal is to be 1% better. Hope you all have an amazing day, and we'll be back again to do this next time.